What if a single recording, imagined or real, could ignite the embers of a story thought settled and suddenly cast the spotlight back on a love that millions believed they understood? What if a private moment, caught on tape, held the power to reignite fascination, speculation, and emotion across the world? This is the story of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, a story that, in this version, finds itself reborn through scandal, rumor, and the fragile power of memory. A story that moves with cinematic intensity, not in the headlines of reality, but in the theater of imagination. The world first noticed it not with fanfare, but with a whisper. A recording leaked. Its origin unclear, its content sensationalized. In this fictional retelling, the leak is less about destruction and more about revelation. Because what it contains is not mere gossip, it is intimacy, vulnerability, and the echo of a love story that refuses to fade quietly into the past. This story isn't over. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. We follow the moments and emotions of your favorite TV stars. Stay with us. Dylan Wang's voice is heard, clear and earnest, threading through the recording like a heartbeat. Shen Yue responds, equally present, equally alive, in words that hint at connection, history, and the bonds that endure despite time and distance. Fans who listen do not just hear voices. They hear fragments of a life lived in parallel with fame, speculation, and public expectation. They hear the humanity behind the personas. The leak sends ripples across social media. Reactions vary: shock, disbelief, awe, but at its center is the recognition that Dylan and Shen Yue's story is not finished. It cannot be. Even when cameras stopped rolling, even when headlines moved on, even when silence fell between them, the emotional narrative persisted. And now, in this imagined scandal, that narrative has been reignited. Every fan who has followed them remembers early interactions, on-screen chemistry, interviews filled with laughter, and moments of subtle connection. Now, years later, the recording casts those memories in a new light. Every glance, every pause, every unspoken word seems to echo with meaning, as if the story had been waiting patiently for its second act. Dylan and Shen Yue are not defined by scandal. They are defined by resilience, by continuity, by the quiet endurance of connection. The recording does not destroy. It illuminates. It reminds fans why they fell in love with these two figures in the first place. Not for fame, not for perfection, but for authenticity. The world watches, wrapped and divided, as the narrative unfolds in real time. Conversations surge online, debates spark across platforms, and yet at the center of the storm is something enduring: the story of two people whose bond has survived the pressures of fame, distance, and the relentless curiosity of the public. And in this imagined universe, the leak does not end with controversy. It leads to reflection. It allows fans to see Dylan and Shen Yue as more than celebrities. They are human beings, capable of love, capable of error, capable of history and memory that cannot be erased. They are living proof that some stories refuse to die, no matter how many times the world tries to close the chapter. As the recording fades, its echoes remain. The scandal, though imagined, is not the point. The point is the rekindling of fascination, the reminder that love is not linear, that human connection cannot be scripted, and that even in the glare of exposure, something private, sacred, and enduring can persist. And so, as the world absorbs the leak, as fans speculate and wonder, one truth emerges in this cinematic narrative: some stories are immortal. Some love stories survive rumor, time, and distance. And Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, through laughter, through whispers, through imagined scandal, remain at the center, reminding us all that the most compelling tales are those that refuse to be silenced, that continue to live in the hearts of those who believe in them. Because in the end, a story is never truly over. It waits. It waits for the right moment, the right spark, the right imagination to bring it back to life. And in this fictional retelling, the spark has been lit once more. And yet, the story does not stop there. Because in this imagined world, the leak becomes more than a scandal. It becomes a catalyst, a mirror reflecting everything fans have longed to see but never fully understood. Suddenly, old headlines, past interviews, and red carpet appearances are re-examined. Every glance between Dylan and Shen Yue, every quiet laugh captured on camera, every subtle moment of connection takes on new meaning. It is as if the recording has pulled back the curtain on a story that was always there, patiently waiting for the world to notice. And fans, caught between disbelief and exhilaration, feel the thrill of witnessing intimacy that is at once raw, tender, and profoundly human. In this cinematic imagining, Dylan Wang is no longer just a star. He is a father of emotion, a man capable of vulnerability, a presence whose words, captured in a single recording, carry the weight of years lived in both light and shadow. Shen Yue, equally, is revealed not just as a celebrated actress, but as a partner, a confidant, a woman whose strength is measured in patience, understanding, and the quiet power to love in the midst of public scrutiny. The leak, though unintended, does what no headline ever could. It humanizes them. It reminds the world that behind fame, there is fragility, behind perfection, there is humanity, and behind every story that seems public, there exists a private universe where love, laughter, and longing intertwine. Fans around the globe react with a mixture of awe and nostalgia. Social media becomes a theater of emotion. Conversations erupt about shared memories, imagined encounters, and the invisible threads that have bound Dylan and Shen Yue together for years. It is no longer speculation. It is collective witnessing, a shared recognition of the enduring power of connection. And within the story itself, the moment is transformative. Because in the wake of the leak, there is acknowledgement, closure, and a rekindling of the narrative that belongs not to gossip, but to imagination, emotion, and cinematic storytelling. Dylan and Shen Yue, in this retelling, do not need to respond. They do not need to clarify or defend. The power lies in the authenticity of the moment, in the undeniable chemistry and history that the recording reveals. In the end, the imagined scandal teaches a profound lesson. Some love stories are not linear. Some narratives resist timelines, defy expectation, and refuse to be neatly categorized. And some connections, no matter how scrutinized or exposed, remain sacred, enduring, and capable of reigniting wonder even after years have passed. As the recording fades into memory, the impact lingers, not as controversy, but as proof that stories worth telling are never truly finished. They breathe, evolve, and return, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in shock, but always with the power to captivate hearts once more. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, in this imagined world, are more than stars. They are symbols of love's resilience. And as the world holds its breath, one truth becomes clear. The most compelling stories are not those that end quietly. They are the ones that rise again, igniting imagination, emotion, and the enduring magic of connection. The story is reborn. The fascination continues. And the love story, fragile, imperfect, and extraordinary, lives on. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe so you don't miss out next episode.